Hey everyone, RiceyP here, host of the Sanctum podcast. Happy New Year and welcome to 2017. Date I never thought I'd see because the world was supposed to end in 2012. So said the Mayan calendar. Anyhow, the Sanctum podcast has taken a small holiday break, as you know, at the end of 2016 due to some unforeseen circumstances that arose. But we are back and we'll be back up doing our podcast again this coming Monday with a new episode for everyone. So our co-host Confiscate, who does the show with me, lost his laptop in early December, and he's been unable to grab the parts that he needs to fix his Crustaceous period laptop. That's how old this thing is. So being that it's an older laptop, he's not being able to find the ribbons that he needs to repair it. So he actually, what he's going to do, the good news is he's going to be building a new desktop PC this month. So he will be able to get back into games and start playing, and we actually look to maybe do some 2s and 3s as well in Warcraft. Also, and I've been also on quite the holiday roller coaster myself. I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety disorders for the last 2 to 3 years, in which the medication for the last, I would say, 6 to 8 months of 2016 had stopped having an effect on me. Now, which in turn caused me to stop taking the prescribed medications or seeking further assistance to combat the issues that I wrestle with daily. This all came to a head back in August at the very end, when I basically hit rock bottom and I was in a very bad place for a few months. With the help of my loving wife, though, I reluctantly sought help, as she urged me to do at a local clinic for addiction and mental wellness. Despite my severe depression, chronic anxiety, and suicidal ideations, I would sporadically have during this time, they felt that the inpatient treatment was a bit too much, so just after Thanksgiving, I was admitted to and enrolled into a 14-day outpatient program here locally. Now, this is still a very difficult subject for me to talk about. When you're in the group therapy and things like that, it's a little bit easier because other people who are there with you have experienced what you're experiencing, and you find a comfort level with people, understanding that because they've been through it, they understand what you're going through now, and it's a judgment-free zone. It's a fantastic thing. I would honestly say if anyone does struggle and you feel that group therapy and sharing might not help, I can honestly say I felt the same way until I was about 4 or 5 days into the program, and I completely feel the opposite way now. So it's a great thing. But due to basically having a slight embarrassment of the situation, it's still difficult for me to talk about. But alas, here I am on YouTube and doing a podcast about it. I feel it's important that I do talk about this because this is something that's not often publicly talked about that should be a lot more often. Now, upon my admittance to the program, I held a very serious stigma attached to the word mental illness. Not being insensitive, since then I've learned plenty, but always thought of mental illness being severe, of the more severe effective type of mental illnesses that there were. Multiple personality disorders, intellectually handicapped, or not to be, PC or un-PC, but as some people might know the reference, mentally handicapped, mentally retarded, things like that. The other severe illnesses that plague our population as well. And that's kind of the stigma that I think a lot of people have attached to mental illness. They don't think that it's acceptable for you to have a mental illness, and it's quite normal, actually. But I've learned much since my time in the program. For one, that depression and anxiety are the most common forms of mental illness that are out there. Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people live day to day going on undiagnosed of their symptoms and issues, thinking that something is wrong with them personally, or that the rest of the world just do not understand you. Experiencing things maybe that you might be too sensitive to, other things like that. It's really almost a taboo thing to speak about depression and anxiety in mixed company when you don't feel safe or you're not sure how the other person's going to react, because that's very important to the person, is they don't want to feel like they're being judged. They want to feel like they're being understood. Now, it makes people uneasy, and a lot of people just think or feel, why can't you just be happy? Or why can't you just stop worrying? Things like that. Which in turn makes the people who suffer from these mental illnesses ashamed and embarrassed to be struggling with these things to begin with. Because if you feel like I should just be quote-unquote normal, why can't I be? Why am I not normal? And normal is completely not even a thing. I found this out being in therapy, that normal is relative. Normal is relative to whatever the person who feels normal is. That's all normal is. But, there should be, it isn't the way that things should be, as I mentioned, when you're dealing with these mental illnesses. It's bad enough already when every day you want to isolate yourself from everyone else and everything, feeling like that you are the broken one, that there is the problem with you and not anybody else. And why can't, again, you be normal? Those are negative thoughts that you have when you suffer from depression and anxiety, just like many other people do. Now, I could go much more into this, but I won't at this time. I just want to let everybody know that I have made it through the 14 days of outpatient therapy, and I've learned so much about myself and my mental illnesses that I can now come forward and talk about this in an open forum type section. A lot of my friends and close people that I do talk to knew that I was going into the program, and they knew that, what happened when I finished. But I think it's time that this isn't something that I just lock away in a closet. I think this is something that needs to be talked about in the open for people that also may not even know or understand that they are suffering from a mental illness, like depression or anxiety, or things worse, bipolar, things like that. Now, with that said, this is to hopefully give hope and help to others who might feel lost and afraid in this entire endeavor. I've learned some wonderful things regarding on how to cope with things when faced with them, issues and things like that, so you don't automatically just shut down like it was so very routine before, where you just mentally and physically shut down. I've learned things to give my life back to me and realize what I am in control over, my life and my feelings. And that's an important thing to say, is what I am in control over, because there's a lot of things that you are not in control over. I can no more control somebody else than I can control a dog that doesn't want to sit. It's the same thing. It's you have certain control over things, and you have to make that understanding, and it's very good when you finally do get that understanding. But now this doesn't mean that I don't struggle daily, multiple times a day. The most important realization that I have learned was that medicines do help, but they aren't the whole fix. They are not just the fix. I also have to do my part in regulating my feelings and thoughts, but don't get me wrong, the medications do help with the chemical imbalances that we have, if you suffer from mental illnesses, in our brains that are the source and cause of depression and anxiety. But I've learned that I am broken, but I'm okay with it. I've learned that I will always be in a constant cycle of maintenance to maintain my good mental health. And I don't mean that negatively at all. For anyone who thinks that this might be something negative that I'm saying, it's not. I mean that in the most utmost positive way possible. I've gone into the darkest place that I have ever seen in my life, and I've come out the other side, albeit beat up with cuts and bruises, but I'm still alive. I'm still here, and I'm armed with the weapons that I need to fight the good fight of survival and good mental health. So that's why I'm coming to you guys, and I just wanted to let everybody know what was going on. So, the Victor Sanctum will be coming back to you very soon. I just wanted to let everyone know what's been going on with us, and that we are still here. We are still here. We are still a podcast. We still are a blog. Just took some time off for the holidays. Now it's time for a brand new year of content, some crazy adventures in PvP. Also, a note to everyone, we are now available on TuneIn Radio for anyone who uses the Amazon Echo. You can pull our podcast directly up on there. Just search for Victor Sanctum. and you can listen to us on the Echo Dot or any of the other Echo, Google, not Google. Well, Google might work too as well. I'm not sure. I haven't used the Google one. But any of the Amazon Alexa products should be able to pull us up on TuneIn Radio. And thanks for Foxy Hippo for letting us know he got one this past Christmas and was playing with it and realized that the only thing that it does pull from is TuneIn Radio. So I went ahead and I made sure that we're available now on TuneIn Radio as well. So that's going to actually bring this little snippet to an end here. Hope everybody is enjoying their holidays. I hope you got to see all the family and all your friends that you love. Spend good time with them. It's January now, though. It's 2017, so it's time to put our nose to the grinding stone and try to get through another year. Try to have as much enjoyment and happiness as you can. And we'll catch you on the next episode. So if you see us in game, say hey. If not, we'll catch you soon.